She's an award-winning writer, a hunting guide, archery and rifle instructor, keynote speaker, and all-around outdoors woman who encourages you to get outside, hunt, fish, shoot, and savor all that life has to offer. And now, here's your host, Mia Anstein.
Hey there, hi, hello. I hope you're doing great. I'm talking to you this morning. This is going to be a little bit different show today because I am talking to you from the truck. I'm in beautiful Grand Junction, Colorado, and it's been a heck of a couple weeks. I am sorry that I've missed 2 weeks of shows. I've been traveling a bunch and it's been super difficult to find a solo place where I can find some quiet and not a lot of background noise to share and visit with you. So today I wanted to talk to you about where I've been and what I've been doing and why. And one of the places is, yes, I have had a chance to go turkey hunting one day in between my travels. So I want to tell you about my turkey hunting adventures, but just before that, let's have our intro ad. Be right back.
This winter, stay warm from head to toe with WSI Sports' heater gear layers. Use Leah's affiliate code, LLCO10, at WSISports.com and get 10% off your order. All products are proudly made in the USA. WSI Sports is bringing back pride in American-made clothing. That code once again, LLCO10 for 10% off at WSISports.com.
The turkey hunting adventure that I got to go on, and yes, I've been on a lot of turkey hunting adventures, but each and every one is different. They are never the same. And the cool thing about hunting, and hopefully some of you have been hunting before, but for those of you who haven't, a cool thing about hunting is just when you think you have things figured out, those animals throw you a curveball. And I don't care whether it's a turkey, an elk, a deer, a bear, we can pattern them and we can get the best we can, but they aren't always exactly the way we thought they would be. We woke up early, obviously before sunrise, and I say obviously because good turkey hunting involves getting out there way before daylight. And I was hunting an area that I've hunted before and on the national forest. We're riding in the dark and hear a gobble just before sunrise. So, okay, we slam on the brakes, park the horses. This is my one morning that I could get out there before hitting the road. Park those horses, tie them up, and get going. And we're chasing after a gobbler. And after the sun came up, and I was thinking about this as we were trying to get closer for a shot and trying to get near this bird, it was an area where the bird roosts, but it is inevitably a jake and a lone bird, and it's not a huge flock of turkeys. And so normally what we do is we pass this location up. But I think since we were so excited to get me out there, and I say we, this is my husband and I, we decided to try to get this bird. Well, long story short, that bird, it beelined the opposite direction and we never even saw that guy. So we start hiking and we head up to another area where we know there are generally birds in the area. Now we're a little late for setup there because the sun's already up. And so we didn't get a chance to get set up where we wanted to be. But as we get closer, birds are gobbling. So, yep, it's the area where we wanted to be and there are birds there. We ease our way in and sneak in because we know those turkeys are going to come down that valley. And I get set up. My husband gets set up further back and starts calling. Well, as he starts calling, there's not just one bird up this draw, but there are at least 3 birds up the draw. They're moseying their way down toward where I'm at. Perfect. They also have, I can hear hens clucking and putting and purring. So they were all very vocal that morning. And we were both very surprised because that area we thought for sure, since it's a few weeks into the season, that they had been messed with, which means people have been calling and calling and calling to them. So we figured once we started calling, they would probably be quiet. And it was quite the opposite. They started to come. Well, I'm sitting there, I'm set up behind my decoys. Then to my left, I hear another gobble. Oh no. oh, that's another bird. So this means I won't be able to move or relocate because from that direction, it's wide open. And then, lo and behold, another gobble from kind of to my right and behind me. Okay, and it's not my husband calling. He's in the opposite direction. He's probably about 8 o'clock on my left. And I wasn't sure how far back he was, but it definitely wasn't him because it was a great gobble, and generally we're not gobbling at them. Well, as they start getting closer, I can hear the ones coming down the draw, but there's a little berm, and that berm was blocking my view. Now, I'm hoping that they'll get past the berm and come out in front of me because they're closer than the one on my left that I can hear gobbling in the trees. And obviously the one behind me, it was behind me. So I was going to have to try to turn and shoot if there's one behind me, and that's not going to be the safest, but also it was thick brush behind me. So I probably wasn't going to get a shot until he's on top of me. And I will share a story on my website about a turn and shoot on a gobbler one time that was quite a fun adventure, but that's a different story. So I'll share that on there. Well, this time, the ones that were so near with the toms with the hens, they kind of stopped. I couldn't hear them gobbling anymore, but the one from my left, it's coming, and I can finally see it. It's about 400 yards up the draw, and I'm pretty much from that direction in the wide open. But I was set and ready, and I'm very good at being very still. I wasn't too concerned. What I did wish is that I could have reached to grab a phone, but if you want to know something about turkeys, is they have incredible hearing and they have incredible eyesight. And many turkey hunters say that if turkeys could smell, you would never kill one. They're much more keen than people give them credit. So I knew I had to be ultra still. Well, he starts coming. The other turkeys that were near, I didn't hear them anymore. This one's strutting and turning and dancing, and he was so proud of himself, and he was gorgeous. As far away as he was, without lifting my binoculars, I couldn't see his beard, so I was going to have to wait till he got into my shotgun range. I was with my shotgun that day. Well, long story short, he ended up veering off into some brush and headed toward the birds that I couldn't see over the berm. And so I quickly did a very stealthy belly crawl, which I'm very proud of myself because I did a nice job on a belly crawl to get toward that berm. And I peeked my head up to look, and all of them were gone. They were out of there. So I'm not sure if maybe they saw the whites of my eyes. I was wearing my mask. I wasn't wiggling. I wasn't doing anything. But as I said, they have keen eyesight. I could have blinked and he could have saw me, and he could have taken that whole flock and booked it. So that was my one turkey hunting adventure. But today I want to tell you about the DC Project, and I want to tell you about a Girl in a Gun Club. Be right back.
For the love of the outdoors, open spaces, and mountains, shop www.mia.limited/one. The Mac Outdoors Mountains Are Calling series of apparel is perfect for you or your loved ones. Support the channel and shop now. www.mia.limited/one.
So, the DC Project. Between my turkey hunting adventures, first I went to the DC Project. And the DC Project, for those of you who don't know, it is a nonprofit organization. It is a nonpartisan group. It started out as one woman from every state in the United States, and we would head to Washington, D.C., to the Capitol, to talk to our legislators. We want to show them the face of gun owners, and a face that a lot of people don't associate with gun owners, the faces of women. Diana Muller founded the DC Project, and I would have to look up the year. I'll put that in the show notes. But Diana Muller founded the DC Project, and she's been growing and building this group, getting support. She has a 3-gun match that raises money to help pay our travels and help us get to where we need to go. If we want to testify at a Senate hearing, at a congressional hearing, whether it's a national level or a state level, the DC Project will help us get there so that we can share the voice of gun owners and also from a woman's perspective. I've been to DC a few times, and sometimes without the DC project before I was a member of it. But now I am a member. And what we did now is we headed to DC to visit with the legislators. There were 12 of us that went, and what we did is met with different legislators. We did observe social distancing and so forth and followed etiquette and protocol for each location and office. We visit with them and tell them our stories, and it's the stories of gun owners. Some of these women were anti-gun before, and now they are proud gun owners. Some of them are shooting instructors. Some of them are historians that are very well researched in the history of firearms and also of politics. We have naturalized immigrants that have come here legally. One of them is Gabby Franco from Venezuela, and she tells her story about what happened in Venezuela. It's an amazing one. If you've never heard it, then go look Gabby Franco up. If you can't find her, please just email me if you have questions or anything like that. My email address is contact@miaanstein.com, or you can comment on my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or anything like that on a post, or direct message me, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. But Gabby Franco has an amazing story about the socialism of Venezuela, which a lot of people, I'm going to go on a little sidebar here, but a lot of people, when they think socialism, they want to think of Finland. And when I was in Finland, it is a beautiful country, but one thing is they don't choose their careers. They take the aptitude test like we take in high school, and it tells them you can go into this or this or this, and that's what they get to do for work. They don't choose their careers. So that's something to keep in mind also with Finland in contrast to Venezuela. In Venezuela, they took all of their guns and the criminals are overtaking that country. And we've already seen here through the pandemic that we are not going to be so peaceful as Finland. So there's a difference. Do some research on that, and if you find other points about that, let me know. As I said, I'd like to hear some feedback on that. But we have other victims who maybe are survivors of attacks or rapes. We have Nikki Goser, her husband was gunned down right in front of her in a restaurant in a gun-free zone. So we go and talk to these legislators and tell them why a red flag law may be bad, why different things. My main point is I think that anyone in any state, in any county, you need to get in touch with your legislators and you need to let them know who you are, let them hear your voice, let them hear your reasoning and why a law would hinder or help you. And whether you're pro-gun or not, you need to speak up and let them know. I am pro-gun, so most of my musings are from that perspective. But if you do have questions of why I feel certain ways or why I talk about it, then I'm open to feedback and I'm open to education. I think educating people empowers them. Educating our whole country about firearms would make us so much safer. That's a little bit about the DC project. It was a 4-day trip, and then I came back, got to turkey hunt one morning. And I'll tell you a little bit more about one of my other side things that I have a lot going on right now. And so it wasn't just these trips that is keeping me from getting some news and some musings to you. So be right back.
Hey, this is Lloyd Bailey, the Armed Lutheran, host of the Armed Lutheran Radio podcast, reminding you that the podcast you're listening to is a proud member of the Self-Defense Radio Network. Check out all the great content at selfdefenseradio.net.
So I wanted to talk to you a little about the sidebar. Another tertiary thing that I've been having going on in the background is in a roundabout way, we came to selling one of our houses. We do have a lot of real estate investments, and we ended up selling one, and we got this ball rolling to buy another ranch. Well, that fell through after we had already gotten one. The first day we put this house on the market, it sold above the asking price. So with COVID, things are a little different right now, but it sold the first day over asking price. And so what happens is in order to avoid the taxes on that, we have to enter the 1099 exchange process. That's something I'm not going to go into detail about. You can research that on the internet, but it meant we had 160 days to find another place to buy. And get going. Well, we did find a place, but it was a little higher in the budget. So I ended up selling another place of mine, and we're buying another ranch. And so we're keeping the one we have, but buying another one. The whole thing is a very intricate process, but I had a lot of balls flying in the air at one time. And I know I'm a good juggler, but I've never juggled this many balls. So we're selling places. That second house, it also sold the first day. We had several offers, and it sold above asking price as well. The second place that I sold, my mother was living in, and so we had to relocate her. End up doing that, relocating her to my daughter's house, my daughter to my house, and then I was kind of living out of a boxes, packing in between going to the DC project and getting back from the DC project, packing up my house, and everything is in boxes, and getting ready to close on the new place that we're buying, and then going Turganning one morning. That's why I've only been out one morning, because I've had a lot going on. Then I'm up in Grand Junction, Colorado, teaching archery at the Cameo Shooting Complex. Great facility. If you've never been there, you need to go see it. And with everything packed, we finally closed on that place while I'm up here, and my husband is currently moving us into that place. So by the time I get home, I should have a brand new house that I will have to unpack. But anyways, being with having people staying with me, living with me, packing, my office was filled with boxes, and it was quite difficult to find a quiet place to record. So that is why I apologize that I have missed some episodes, but it's been a lot, and I will hopefully be all settled into a new office and be back on my regular schedule very soon. And I'm going to tell you about A Girl and a Gun Club. If you haven't heard about A Girl and a Gun Club, it is a national organization. It is a nonprofit. I am not a member of A Girl and a Gun Club, so I can't speak as far as a member or a chapter leader, but they do have chapters, and I do direct friends to A Girl and a Gun Club. I've had friends in California. I've had friends in Florida. I've had friends in Pennsylvania that are wanting to learn to shoot, maybe that didn't come from a gun family, didn't ever own a gun, haven't shot guns, and I do direct them to organizations like A Girl and a Gun Club, A Girl and a Gun Club, and others. They have these chapters. They will have range days. I have a friend named Connie Brooks. She used to own Barnes Bullets. She is in Utah, and her chapter, she invites me continually to their events because I'm far, but not super far from her. She has had Dutch oven cooking classes. She's had archery classes. She's had handgun range days, rifle range days. So they do different things. And so you can be a part of these clubs as a member just for the social aspect. Or if you're learning, they are wonderful. They embrace you, take you in, and teach you how to shoot. And what I've learned here, I had to be couple days early into Grand Junction because they had me as their keynote speaker for their leadership reception. And as they kicked off this week, it's been a week-long event for them. I'm only teaching archery for 3 days. We had our first day yesterday. But as the speaker for their opening event, I visited with a few of them. And what I learned is that they train their instructors and they have to be certified before they instruct. So it's not just any Joe Blow going out there and teaching that hasn't been instructed on how to be safe, how to have a safe range, how to have trauma kits, medical kits. They want the full shebang. They teach them that before they're allowed to start up their chapter. I will put a link to A Girl and a Gun Club in the show notes. They have a conference once a year. There are 450 ladies in attendance here. It is just outstanding. So check out that link, do some more research. If you have questions, as I said, reach out to me. It is contact@miaanstein.com for the email, or you can direct message me on social media outlet. I'm generally pretty quick at responding, except for this week and traveling. It's pretty tough to get to the technology when you're busy teaching and trying to make sure that ladies are safe and having fun. Don't forget to visit my website, miaanstein.com. You can download gear lists there for turkey hunting if you are interested, and I'll be happy to talk to you next week, hopefully from a brand new office. Have a great one. Bye.